Today we are going to be doing some harvesting here in the garden. We got all sorts of stuff. We have peppers, eggplants, celery, carrots, potatoes, all the stuff. My husband is going to be helping me with the potatoes. I will be taking you along with me over here and we're gonna see what we can get. I'm not gonna lie, I am super tired, but this has to be done, and I'll take you along with me and show you what we can get from this harvest. So let's go ahead and get harvesting. So the first bed I'm going to start with is this wonderful green beans bed, and yes, they are green. Look at them, they are gigantic. These things are above the hoops that I put for them to protect them from the frost. I was planning on using these hoops as a way to extend the season. This is supposed to be a second succession of bean, but for me really this is my first succession of beans because I wasn't able to plant beans in the summer, and they just started producing, and we're gonna see what they are going to give us. I have this row over here is what's it called? It's a very common variety of green beans. Blue Lake bush beans. Yes, Blue Lake bush beans. And the other one is a variety I'm trying for the first time, and it is the Contender beans. I've never tried that variety before, so we're gonna see how that is going to do for us. And let's go ahead and see what we can get from the first time harvesting this bean. These baskets that I have with me are not going to be enough. I have so much to harvest, which I'm super thankful for. So one thing about green beans is that the more you harvest off of them, the more they will produce. Once you start letting them go to seed, they're going to stop their production, and that's because what happens is that as soon as the plant senses the production of seeds, it's going to send, there are some chemicals that are produced in the plants, and it's going to send a signal to the mother plant to stop producing the beans and focus on growing the seeds so that it would have viable seeds so that it would be able to reproduce again. So all you have to do to keep your green beans producing is just harvest them as often as you can. And I love the color of the flowers on these beans. It's purple, my favorite. It is, yeah. So that's how much I got from the green beans. Not much. This is my first harvest, and I'm pretty happy with this harvest. I like to harvest them when they're tender, before they put on like a lot of growth. This is I would say this is the latest I like to harvest them at. And the thinner they are, you know, I don't want them to be like super young, but the thinner they are, the more tender they are. So that's how kind of like to harvest my green beans. And these will make a great stir fry, or I could save them, make green bean stew, because we love that. That's a good harvest. Alright, so now we're gonna go harvest the butternut squash. Before we get to the butternut squash, I just wanted to mention something here. I am going to be using frost covers on most of the plants that I have in here to protect them from the frost when it comes, so that I can extend the season. I did that last year, I did that the year before with the covers in the early spring before it was even time to plant outside, and I really love doing that because it just extends the season a lot. We have a short growing season, and the more I can extend the season, the better it is, because as you can see, for me, a second succession of beans won't survive unless I use the row covers or crop covers. And you could even use a bed sheet, as long as the sheet that you are using or the frost cover that you are using is not touching the plants are going to be okay. Wherever the cover touches the plants, those plants are going to get frost damage. So you want it to be lifted up away from the plants. And I'm a little bit nervous about using these hoops on these beans over here because the beans are, some of them are taller than the hoops, and they're going outside of the bed. They're really gigantic and they look super healthy, which I'm very thankful for. So what I'm instead going to do is I'm going to use some T-posts and make sort of a greenhouse effect by using T-posts and have it rise it up over them. And I won't use like the super tall T-posts. It's going to be maybe something like the 6-footer, and a part of that is going to be underground. Of course, it's going to be like about a foot underground. So those will work better for these green beans. And I will take these hoops and maybe use them on the parsley bed instead. And the parsley bed is overtaken by weeds. I need to weed it so that the parsley can start growing. I also forgot that I turned off the water on this vegetable garden for like a whole month, and I totally forgot because we were getting so much rain. But then we ended up with periods of no rain whatsoever for a week or so, especially after I seeded my fall crops, and a lot of them weren't germinating, and I was wondering why. So that's what happened. So in one of the beds you'll see the lettuce, half of it I would say or less germinated, and my cilantro did not germinate. So I'm going to be seeding that with some spinach because my husband and the kids like it, and we're just gonna get a lot of spinach, and also hopefully I'll be able to preserve some and get it in the freezer. Alright, so let's go ahead and go to the butternut squash and show you what we got there. So my butternut squash actually seeded itself in here. I didn't plant it, which I'm very thankful for because this spring was crazy and I wasn't able to plant a lot of the stuff that I wanted to plant. And whatever I'm getting from it, I'm just going to say thank you to God for giving me these plants and this beautiful harvest, whatever comes out of it, because otherwise I would not have been able to do it myself. So the plants unfortunately got attacked by the squash bugs. I sprayed them a couple times with some diatomaceous earth. Oh wow! Look at this potato. My husband just, he's showing me this. Wow, these are the russet potatoes. Amazing. Thank you. This is from the bed that I did actually a video on how to prep your bed and make it produce for you like that. And I'll link that video for you guys down in the description box below. Those potatoes are amazing, and I've already harvested from that bed a lot of fingerling potatoes, and my husband is harvesting the rest from that bed, and a lot of the russet potatoes look huge, right?
We'll show my screenshot when we're done.
Alright. Yeah. I haven't checked them yet. He's working on them. So anyways, I sprayed them, and unfortunately it just kept raining wherever I would spray them with whenever I spray them with the diatomaceous earth, can't talk today, and the rain just kind of washes away the diatomaceous earth, and the squash bugs won, and I just wasn't able to get back here again and spray again. I wasn't able to just stay on top of it, so I just kind of, I mean, the plants look really bad, and I was like, yeah, whatever. And they still produced. This one looks like it's being eaten by something, so I'll be using this very soon. Maybe tonight I'll roast it. And the way how you can tell that your squash is ready to harvest is, one, this part over here, the stem, would be super hard, and if I tap on it, of course the helicopter is going to be here. If I tap on it, you'll hear that it's kind of woody. Let me bring it closer to the camera. See that? Also, when you poke your fingernail in it, you're not going to see a huge indent in there. And these are not like super ready because the plant, hi sweetie, because the plant died. Are you gonna help, sweetie? Yes. And some of them aren't like super ready, but I've noticed that some squash actually matures a little bit after you harvest it. So if it's not fully mature, if it's semi-mature, kind of like, ooh, that is terrible. Something's been eating this. So if it's about to reach the point of maturity, then what you can do if the plant dies is just take it, put it in a kind of a warmish location and not in a like a very humid environment, and let it, oh, don't step on the squash plant, sweetie, because we don't want to kill the rest. And it will continue to mature. Yeah, that is a squash plant. Look, there's more over here, sweetie. You want to harvest them? On that side.
Where? There.
You want to get them?
Ew, love squash.
Yeah.
Ooh, winter time.
Do you need help? Here, let me cut it for you. Watch out. All right, here, put it in the basket.
These are clean wash bags. So you have to clean them still. These are love wash.
There's squash.
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 Thank
That's
you.
a cute one.
That's a really cute one.
You're welcome.
I got more to.
Oh, there's more over here on this side.
Where? These are love squash.
Oh, I see a big one.
Ooh, where?
Ooh, a few big ones. Hold on. Here you go.
Hey, Mama, look.
Uh-oh, that's the squash bug.
How can squash bugs get on this?
They're eating the plant.
So, what? The bug squash plant?
Yeah.
And
sweetie.
do that?
Here, baby.
Oh, there's a little more. Sorry. I just got
I have a big one. You want to see it?
see squash.
Hey! Wow!
What do you find?
Look!
Oh, where'd that come from?
In the walkway!
I got
Look what I
a
found in the walkway! I was so upset because I didn't plant any in the spring, and I love turnips. And God planted turnips for me in the walkway. Oh, this is so fun.
Very
I love surprises
fun.
like these. Oh yeah, hold on. There's one right here. Careful, don't break the plant. Look at this one. Oh no. Oh, something got to it.
Oh,
what?
Look at that. That was awesome. And then this.
well, maybe you can salvage it.
I think so. I'm just gonna cut like half of it,
Yeah.
the bottom half off. I'll just cut the bottom half off and I'll use it. I guess we're gonna have a lot of butternut squash tonight.
Yeah, all right, I don't mind.
Butter. It's like
It's
butter.
like butter.
Don't mind that.
There are a lot of ones like this that aren't mature yet.
Oh, no, please don't. Go under the
And over here.
I thought.
Well, I can throw that for you.
Yes, you can.
That's a daikon radish. I have a daikon radish in the ground. So I just want to say, it shows that sometimes it pays off to not weed. That's my excuse.
But it never pays off to not harvest.
Yeah. You can't be a lazy gardener. You gotta harvest. I mean, you could be a lazy gardener in other ways, but when it comes to harvest, you gotta harvest. Otherwise, why plant? Don't let it go to waste. Ooh, look at all the dill seeds. I gotta harvest the dill seeds.
Whoops.
We have a lot of dill seeds over here. I'm going to be harvesting them and putting them in some Ziploc bags so that I could save some of the dill seeds. This thing is full of them, so that's probably gonna spread everywhere. I was planning on coming here and harvesting all of this so that I could actually use them for culinary purposes, not just to replant, but I think I could still do that. So maybe we could do that also today. We'll see. Look at this. This is actually very beautiful. So I'm going to leave the squash right here for now until my daughter gets me a few Ziploc bags so that I can put the seeds in. I sent her to her sister. She's not she's not going to get them herself. That'd be pretty impressive, but I have older kids inside. So yeah, it looks like I have a lot of radish growing in the walkways. Very impressed, very happy with that. I have daikon radish, I have just a regular, not radish, I mean turnip and radish, daikon radish and the other type of turnip. And also I totally forgot the bok choy is ready to harvest, so we gotta harvest that too.
Here you go.
Okay, she got you the bag, right?
Oh, thank you.
Good job, Serenity.
Good job. Oh, oh, oh. Thank you.
What do you think so far this harvest?
Thank you, sweetie. That's amazing from just one bed. I mean, look at this. This is what, like how many quarts would you say this is? Like, I don't know.
Oh, tomatoes.
Oh, careful, sweetie.
Bring
Careful.
the camera here. How many?
Wow, look at that. That's just from one plant.
One scoop with my...
Yeah, that's one plant right there.
Yeah.
Amazing. These are the russet potatoes, and I planted a whole lot of different varieties in here. I have a video where I planted, I forgot what I planted where, but I have some fingerlings, some red potatoes, and some russet potatoes. I don't know the like the exact varieties, but I know the russet and the fingerling. It's a French fingerling, and it's so good. I love the fingerling potatoes. And I already harvested 3 plants on that side earlier, and I still have some of them. I'm storing them in the garage because that's, for us, that's the best place to store them at, because that's the coolest place in our house. Our basement gets too hot because we have the freeze dryer down there, and also if it gets too humid down there, that could be a problem. I also have my plant. This is where I start my plants and stuff like that, so it does get humid in there. I have a fan going in there, but sometimes we also turn on the dehumidifier to get rid of some of the humidity. And that's just a weed. And what happens is the dehumidifier also heats up that space. So since that's going on, a lot of the like root vegetables, like the potatoes and the onions and stuff like that, were starting to rot last year because of that. Because that freeze dryer is almost always running. So because of that, we chose the garage to store them in, and right now I just have the onions in a basket on top of the freezer, which is not ideal, but I need to find a better place for them. Wow!
Go ahead and grab it. Go ahead and get it.
Ooh, look at that potato. That's a big one.
It's so big.
You want to get it?
That's so big. Wow.
Oh, I missed it.
You missed it. All right, replay. There. There you go. Get out of here.
That's a big one. Oh, careful.
Look what I just did.
No! Alright, we'll use that tonight also with a butternut squash. So this squash was doing poorly, and then once the weather cooled down, it like put on so much growth. Bad timing, because I should have been better earlier in the season.
Yeah, I'll get it. I'll get it.
We're probably going to end up with a lot of dill in this walkway. I think what I'm going to do with this dill is just harvest the seed heads as they are, take them inside and process them.
Well, go get them.
You know, I was tired before I got here. I was feeling exhausted. And once I got into the garden, all of a sudden I have like this renewed energy in me. I don't know, but that's what the garden does for me. I feel like I can work all day right now. I got this much. I think that's pretty good for like seeds for saving seeds to plant. I think that's a lot of dill. I won't be planting that many. What? It's like a lot. It's what? 1,000 seeds or more, maybe? I don't know.
Here.
There. There we go. I think that's the last ripe one. The rest are not ripe. I'm running out of space. I still have a lot of plants I need to harvest. Oh, there's an acorn squash too.
Mama,
It's rotten.
take the camera away. Won't you say something to them?
Okay. What do you want to say?
I want you to put that there
Why?
because I just want you, and I wanna leave you away. Stop.
Hold on 1 second. I wanted to say something. I forgot what I was gonna say. She wants to be the star of the show.
I am a princess. Well,
You guys witnessed that.
I am a princess.
I love you.
put it there.
Oh, okay. Gotta do what the princess says. I don't know what else would happen if I don't
told you,
follow.
she's spoiled.
Mama, leave me
She's a
alone.
princess.
Leave me alone.
Leave me alone there.
All right, hold on 1 second.
I can't see them.
Hold on. I'll put it to your height, princess.
Princess.
Watch your fingers.
Princess Goodit. My
Okay.
face is too close. I don't want you to.
This is from this bed, and I already collected probably, I don't know, like about like this much
Here's my hand.
before. Yeah, look at that.
It's a man's hand.
Yeah,
Mama, give me
that
it.
is a lot of potatoes from this bed. So if you guys want to grow some good potatoes and you have bad soil, I have a video on how you can change your soil and turn it better to grow potatoes like these over here. These are a good size potatoes.
You know, when we first moved here,
Potatoes?
even the weeds wouldn't grow in there.
I know, it was terrible.
It's so
This
good
year was,
to
you
see
know,
them.
Crazy.
I really love them. Tomatoes are so good. I made it so good. And I can
Look at all the bok choy I got from this bed. So what I did is I left the bottoms of the bok choy still in the bed, and I'm kind of trying to see if they're going... Hold on, sweetie. I'm trying to see if they're going to produce some more. And this is another variety of bok choy over here. It looks like not all of it came up. And that's probably, again, because I turned off the water for like 3 weeks without realizing. And let's see, I think this is a daikon radish. Do I have a good radish in here? No. That, you know, there's landscape fabric in here, and this one just kind of seeded itself. Oh, it looks like I broke the bottom. So the leafy greens on this thing over here could be used like mustard green, and they are a little bit spiky, but if you cook them down, that spike won't be there. You could eat them as well in salads. You could dice them small so that you don't notice the spikiness, but they are really good, and they're also good health-wise as well. So that's, I think, I don't know, do I want to save this plant? Maybe I'll make something with it tonight, I don't know. And the bok choys I'll save for a stir fry for later this week. I already harvested a lot of carrots from this bed over here, but there are still some over here, and some of them went to seed, and I left them on purpose because normally I don't get carrots going to seed in our environment, and I want to save some of the seeds. And you can see that these are starting to produce seeds. You can see that right there. And I just need to let them dry a little bit before I can harvest from them. So I still have some carrots over here that could be harvested. I harvested some today and those were gigantic, but the rest I feel like are not so big. The ones I have in the fridge are gigantic. And yeah, of course, you know, when I'm doing something on camera, everything comes out small. And oh, this is a decent one there. So I want to harvest them now because the weevils are starting to get to them. Oh, that's a good one right here. And I don't want them to get destroyed. Now I could keep them in the ground, but if the weevils were not there, that would have been better. Well, these look like they didn't mature so much. So that's just a few carrots from here. So let's go ahead and harvest the rest. Look at this one over here. That's a weird one. Yes, sweetie?
See what happens to my fingers?
I think that's a decent second harvest of carrots. Like I said just earlier today, I got carrots that were even bigger than this one, and the ones that I got in the fridge are much bigger than this. But that's a good harvest over here. This, considering I didn't thin this at all, and it's full of weeds, and I still have some over here that are kind of on the smallish size, so I just left them in here to grow a little bit. So now let's go harvest a couple cabbages. I don't want to harvest all of them, and some of them are still maturing, but I want to harvest some because I want to make sauerkraut this week. So yesterday I harvested one cabbage. It was gigantic, and today I harvested another one, and I gave that one away, and that was also huge. And right now we're gonna harvest just a couple, I think, yeah, because I don't want to have too many in the house. I just don't have enough space in the fridge. There's also one on this side over here. I know you can't see it because this bed is full of weeds, but that's been my life this year. I like to wash the harvest outside. So one day I would really love to make kind of an outdoor sink over here in the garden. That would be wonderful. This way I could just take all the produce and just wash it right there in the vegetable garden. That's one of my dreams, and hopefully I can do that someday soon, not too far from today. Maybe in a couple years or so. I have an idea on how to do that. I don't think I need professional help. I can be my own professional help. Okay, so this one is not as big. I think this is actually a different variety. I could let this one go for longer, but I don't need it to be gigantic. It's going to take less space inside anyways, and I'm not sure how I'm going to be able to process all this stuff today, so this is why I'm kind of harvesting slowly. I don't want to harvest everything all at once because that's just a lot to process and to go through, and I don't have a lot of space in the kitchen or in the fridge, so I gotta do it a little bit at a time. So I think now I'm going to... Did I miss something in here? Oh yeah, the eggplants are right next to me, so we'll harvest those and then we'll go to the celery. It's starting to get dark, so I gotta hurry up. So the eggplants didn't do well this year. That's alright. And I am harvesting them small because I want to make some pickled eggplants. Some of them have some bug damage on them. I'll just cut that part off. And I'm the only one in the house that eats eggplants anyways, so it's not a big deal. I like to stuff them and pickle them and make baba ganoush and stuff like that. I still actually have some eggplants in the freezer from last year, so it's not a total loss since I still have some from last year, so I could still use those. Let's go ahead and harvest the celery. So, fun fact, I actually don't know how this bucket got here, but it did. So I'll put it away once I'm putting everything away. So this celery is gigantic, as you can see, and all this is just some good soil and some fertilizer and water, and you get yourself some gigantic celery. This celery will keep going and as long as I cover it, because it does not like the frost so much. It might, I think under this kind of state, it might handle some light frost, but I don't want to risk it. I also want to take all the tall stuff. I won't be harvesting everything today, of course, but my plan is to cover it so that hopefully I can continue to harvest from it some fresh celery throughout the winter. Not that I need more celery. I mean, this bed has a lot of celery in it, but the only reason is just for that fresh flavor if I want to put it in some salads. Now I am going to be freeze drying most of it and freezing some of it as well, and freeze drying preserves the flavor really well and the texture, I feel like, especially if you dice it finely. I mean, that's kind of how you use celery anyways, unless you want to eat it fresh with like peanut butter or something like that. But again, for the purpose of eating some fresh celery, I would like to save some of that. I see some parsley that I can harvest also, so that's exciting. I think I'll save that for another day, maybe make some tabbouleh with it. Alright, so let's go ahead and harvest some celery. I think I'm going to harvest most of this plant. I'll probably only harvest one plant today because that's a lot of celery to process. And again, most of it is going to go in the freeze dryer. But what I can do is dice it, freeze it, and then once I'm ready to put it in the freeze dryer, I can just toss it in the freeze dryer. I think that would be more efficient. This way the celery won't go bad waiting its turn to get into the freeze dryer. And you guys, if you notice, I mean, I talk a lot about freeze drying because I love freeze drying. And if you want to preserve your harvest, or even if you don't have a harvest and you want to buy some produce from your local farmer's market or from online, I like to buy from Azure Standard a lot of organic frozen vegetables and fruits, and I freeze dry those as well. And you can do that too. And I actually have an affiliate link with Harvest Right, and I have that in the description box below, linked in the description box below. So if you want to get your own freeze dryer, you can go ahead and check out my link in the description box and get started on preserving your food. And what I love about freeze drying is it doesn't take space in the freezer, so you don't have to have all that space for your produce in the freezer. Now you can can a lot of stuff as well, but you're not going to be canning this right here. You're most likely going to be either freeze drying it or dehydrating it, and I don't like dehydrated herbs. I think the flavor of dehydrated herbs just is how do you say that, like subpar. It destroys the flavor, especially with things like this. And if you buy some herbs, like dried herbs from the store, almost, I'm not gonna say 100%, but I would say probably like 95% of that stuff is freeze dried. And this is, freeze drying preserves the color and the flavor. This is why, like for example, if you buy parsley from certain brands, you notice the color is super vibrant. That's because it was freeze dried. That's what freeze drying does. It just preserves the color and the flavor, and it's amazing. I love it. So enough talking. Let's keep harvesting. I have 2 different varieties in here. Here I am talking again. I have the pink plume celery and another variety of celery. Celery, yes. And I've been harvesting off of this throughout the whole summer. It's been great. And because my parsley wasn't doing that great, I've been using this. Sort of like parsley, but I wouldn't use it in tabbouleh per se. But I was using it in salads and stuff. Like with the leaves also. A lot of people kind of get rid of the leaves and they don't use them. But I find that the leaves have a lot of flavor in them, and I love the leaves, especially in salads and also in soups and broth. They pack a punch in their flavor. This is just 2 plants and I have stuff falling off. 2 plants. Amazing. Alright, I'm gonna bring out all the harvest that I did so far because it's starting to get dark. I do want to harvest some kale. So let's go ahead. Let's go harvest some kale because I do like to have it in for breakfast with some eggs. And I like to preserve that also to use in soups and salads and stuff like that. So I freeze kale normally. You can blanch it and freeze it. So let's go ahead and get some kale harvested. I wasn't filming. I talked so much and I wasn't filming. Okay, anyways, so the reason why I wanted to harvest today is for the peppers, and I totally forgot about the peppers. It's starting to get dark, and usually that area is infested with mosquitoes, so I won't be able to harvest it today. Hopefully I'll be able to come out here tomorrow. I think we'll come early in the morning. Maybe I'll get the kids with me to help me, and we'll harvest some peppers. Those peppers are also going to be going under some frost covers, so maybe after we harvest them we'll put up some hoops and some frost covers over them because, well, maybe not the frost covers yet because we are going to get some days in the 80s this week, I think. Yep. So after the 80s days, then we'll cover them because I don't want them to kind of struggle in the heat. Mosquitoes are starting to attack me. So my husband is still working hard on digging up the potatoes. I have 3 potato beds. This right here, he's digging up the purple potatoes, which volunteered themselves. And some of them sprouted in storage, so I just brought them here and planted them with the rest of the ones that planted themselves.
They do a really quick thing. You come over here.
Yeah. Alright, he's asking me to go there and show you what's happening in there.
From the shovel, or from the fork to here, that's the only area I did. Look how many potatoes I got out of there.
Wow.
That's like what?
Wow, what?
That's like a yard in length.
Yeah.
And 2/3 of a yard. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
These purple ones are really crazy.
Yeah, they are. They're not our favorite, but
No, but they multiply
they do.
so much.
I wasn't intending on planting any purple potatoes this year, but they said they wanted to be planted, and they also planted themselves.
Yeah, they did.
So we are thankful that they did, and we are digging them up, and
Eating them.
yeah, we're gonna be eating them.
Yep.
That's what God gave us, and that's what we're gonna be eating, and maybe we'll also share with some people as well, because I think we're gonna end up with a lot of potatoes.
Yeah, the freeze dryer is going to be happy.
Yeah. I should do a video on freeze drying potatoes because
There's so many things you could do. You could make potato starch, right? You can make freeze-dried mashed potatoes.
yeah,
You know, you can do all kinds of stuff. It's just awesome.
yeah, it
I
is.
love that tool.
It is. I love the freeze dryer. It's our favorite tool. And we're so happy that we spent the money on it. It's a little pricey, you know,
Yeah.
but it's an investment. It's a very good investment.
Yeah,
Wouldn't
it
you
is.
agree? Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and harvest some kale. And I think maybe some Swiss chard, just a little bit. And let me give you just a quick update on the beds over here before it gets dark. So this is the carrot bed. It's looking great, and carrots can withstand frost and snow and everything, and they'll still be in the ground and you can still harvest them and they'll still look green. So they're good. I'm not worried about the carrots or the kale and the Swiss chard. Those things can withstand a lot of varying temperatures, but look at them. Let me go around on the opposite side and show you guys. These things are gigantic, and all this is because of the method that I use, which is composting in place and then digging it into the bed, burying it. And I talk a lot about this method, but I mean, look at this. Look, these plants are just happy, and they barely have any bug damage on them, especially because the weather has cooled down. So when you plant your greens, kind of like your cold weather greens in the summer, they will struggle more in the summer because of the insect pressure on them. It will be higher because they don't like the heat. You know, once the really hot temperatures in the summer start going, then these things will be attacked by the bugs, and usually the aphids end up getting our kale. And the Swiss chard seems to do okay in those temperatures. We don't get like super high temperatures. Our temperatures go up to the 90s, and maximum to like 100 or 104. But what happens is we have a lot of humidity. I mean, some days we have like 90% humidity, and that can be taxing on plants like these. With the heat and the humidity, they just don't like it. So the best time really to plant them is in the fall. The early spring is great if you have a long spring season, especially, I mean, these plants can be planted super early because they are frost tolerant. So you can plant them in the spring, but just know that in the summer they're not going to do great for you. They'll keep multiplying.
You bet. They're dark, so they're hard to detect. Oh, goodness.
Wow.
These things are more virulent than anything I've seen.
Have you seen this kale? It's gigantic.
Really, these purple potatoes, that's
They're
unbelievable.
crazy. Yeah. This is just from a few plants, and I just cut around, you know, the big leaves. You could also harvest the small leaves for salads, which I do also. But this is amazing. This is a huge harvest, and I think I'm gonna be freezing a lot. Let me show you all the things that we harvested today, and put them all together so that you can see all the harvest that we got. And we still have a lot. I harvested yesterday a whole bunch of arugula as well. I don't know if I showed you the bed or not. Huh?
You only got halfway through the potato patch.
I know, we didn't get to the I have some tomatoes I didn't harvest, which I still have a few tomato plants that are like producing a little bit. I have peppers, I planted 3 potato beds, and my husband got through 1.5 bed, I think, right?
Yeah, well, almost. Yeah,
almost
yeah,
1.5,
yeah.
1.3 maybe.
Yeah.
1.3 bed. So there's a lot, and we are super thankful. And I totally forgot, I have sweet potatoes in the front flower bed. So those will be harvested once the frost hits them. I'll be harvesting them because I want them to grow as big as they can. I'm kind of curious how those will do in that bed, because, you know, I don't treat my flower beds as I do with my vegetable beds. I don't use the in-ground composting. So we'll see how those will do. Let me bring everything over here and show you all the produce that we harvested today. Watch out, sweetie. This is our harvest for today, and we still have a whole lot to harvest. A whole lot. So we are super thankful. I got 2 cabbages today, this huge basket full of butternut squash. We're going to be using some of them today. This huge bowl filled with potatoes, and some more potatoes over there from just 1/3 of one of the potato beds. We got the this, what's it called, kale right here, the celery, yes, that's celery, that's right. Also got some bok choy, some turnips, some eggplants and beans. So wonderful harvest, wouldn't you agree?
Oh, we just started.
Yeah, yeah. While I still have some light, I totally forgot to mention this. Potatoes, you can't just store them as they are because their skin is soft and it will just kind of peel off if it kind of scuffs against something. Yeah, 1 second, sweetie. So what you want to do is you want to cure it, and you want to make sure to protect it from any light, because if potatoes see light, they will green up, and when they are green, they will contain a chemical compound. I think it's called solanin. I don't know. I'll flash the name for you guys up over here on the screen so that you can see what that is and do some more research on it. But that is poisonous, and it causes indigestion and a whole lot of other things if you ingest too much of it. So you want to protect your potatoes from the light, and you want to kind of spread them out on a sheet of cardboard and let them cure away from any light. You can cover them maybe with some burlap, something breathable, so that they can cure during that time. And right now I need to find a place to cure my potatoes because I have no idea where I'm going to do that. We're running out of space over here. And so yeah, I just wanted to mention that. So you want to let them cure maybe for about a week, maybe 2, until the skin kind of toughens up. And you don't want to wash your potatoes unless they are like super muddy. That's when you would want to wash them. But otherwise, you don't want to wash them. You don't want to expose them to moisture because they will start to rot. And if you don't have airflow where you are curing them, maybe you can put a fan so that they can cure faster that way and prevent any issues of mold. And you also want to put them in a kind of like a semi-warm location. We are super thankful. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something new. And again, I'll link the Harvest Right affiliate link down in the description box below if I remember. If I remember, I'll come back and leave a comment and pin it in the comment section as well. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll be leaving a video for you right here to go ahead and enjoy until next time. And I'll see you again in the next video. Bye!
No, I can tell it!
What do you want to say?
Put it there.